Hello and welcome to another exciting, almost at breakfast with Unity, cooking with Unity. It's breakfast time here. I'm your host, Max Moreau. With me is Jeffrey Hawthorne. Phil is not in today, unfortunately, but he's been busy and it's been lots of stuff at work and stuff. So we're going to be doing more work on our Scape project, and what we're going to be working on is probably a little bit more on our enemy behavior, maybe make a little particle effect for him to die, but then also we're going to start looking at how we're going to handle our leveling system, and get some of the groundwork set up for that. So let's get started without much further ado. Whatever that means. So, we currently have a dude that follows us, just really brutally. We don't go through walls. He doesn't go through walls. He doesn't go through other objects if he's set to not go through other objects. And we can also... Where did I put my... There's my cube. We can also shoot this guy, and he blows up, kind of, and disappears. He actually produces another, bullet-type thing, too, at some point, I think. Or maybe he doesn't always do that. I don't know. Maybe we have a problem. But what we're going to be doing today, we're going to be doing a little bit on the leveling system and the enemy. I think I'm going to go ahead and start scripting just because I'm kind of in a script mood. And let's get something started here. So what should we call this? Let's just call it, let's call it level. I know that sounds a little bit short for what we usually do. The reason I'm kind of making it short, we could have done something like level manager, but the thing is, we're going to have our character level up like a normal RPG, but we're also probably going to have level information for enemies as well. And so I'm trying to make something that's somewhat generic for either. We still may have to break it up into separate things later, but I'm going to pretend that we're not going to have to do that at first, and we'll see kind of how it feels out. So, what are we going to need for our leveling system? So we're going to have a public int current level equals 1. We're going to have to do public int current level equals 1.
Max level.
Public int max level, maybe. Let's just default it to a classic 70 for right now. Or we could go to a more classic 20 if we wanted to be Dragon Warrior style. But I'm going to go with 70.
Dungeons and Dragons.
Dungeons and Dragons as well. Though Advanced Dungeons and Dragons could go higher. Yeah. Actually, not by default. You have to get an additional guide for that, probably. At least for the
All of them go to 20
experience
until
tables.
You get the epic level handbook.
Yeah. I'm sure that you could extrapolate the experience tables, though, if you wanted to build it out yourself.
Monster levels go beyond 20, even with the base stuff.
This is true.
Sometimes.
This is true, yep. So, what we're going to be doing is, for calculating the level, we're going to need to know how much experience for each level. And typically games do not have a direct linear connection between these two. People are used to using tables and stuff in D&D, but these tables are actually generated using mathematics typically.
Even in D&D.
Even in D&D, yeah, exactly. Generally. Yeah. So what we're going to be doing is we're going to be defining a function to determine how many experience points till the next level. And so let's go ahead and play with that real quick here. So I'm going to create a void get next level XP requirement. That's a bit long in the tooth, but
if it's a get, it's probably not a void.
This is true. This is very true. It's going to return something. Specifically, it's going to return an int. So we're going to round all our stuff to ints. I don't think there's much value in having floating point for levels. We did use floating point for our damage. I did that because of the convenience. A lot of times you may need fractional stuff for certain damage over time and things like that. especially in the lower levels. It's less of a problem in higher ones when you get to, like, large numbers on what you're doing. So the equation I'm going to start with, let's just do something kind of arbitrary but kind of makes sense. So I'm going to go with return. Actually, let's calculate it out and then we'll return it. So int return value equals what we're going to do is I'm going to default it to, let's see how this plays, 10 plus current level. Oh wait, 10. We could do 10 times current level squared times current level
Squared.
So that's 10 times current level squared.
Yeah.
So in this particular case, the order does not matter. Typically, you would want the exponent calculated first, but it doesn't matter in this case. So what this will give us is, let's actually have it print out. Let's print out a few of our levels, actually. Actually, let's return value.
Do we want to do current level minus 1 squared?
Current level minus 1 squared. 1 squared is 1, so I think that kind of makes sense. So
Start at level 1, so the first thing you're going to need experience for is level 2.
The first thing you're going to need experience for is, yeah, so we're calculating the current level, and so the next level of experience would be 10 points to gain level 2. Total points.
Oh, okay.
So we're going to have our actual, so we're going to need private, actually it's probably going to be neat. Yeah, we'll keep it private for right now. Private,
We
int.
changed main screen.
I hope we did. Yeah, we did.
Okay, cool.
Private int, and actually this is on the wrong screen, there we go. Private int experience points, actually it's just XP will be sufficient, equals 0. So if we, let's see what else we need here. Let's create, yeah, this is probably going to be primarily for the player. We're probably going to have a separate thing for the enemy level stuff. I'm going to actually go with player level. We're going to assume that the enemies do not level up themselves, like during gameplay. What I mean by that is they will have levels and they will be affected by levels, but they will not be.
Your experience will be affected by your level and their level.
Exactly. So they won't actually gain experience if they like kill the player or kill other things. That doesn't generally happen in games. So we don't care about tracking their XP. That's excessive for them. So this is going to actually be the player level thing. I've decided at this point. Who cares about what I said earlier? This is what we're doing now. So player level. So I'm going to add some convenience functions here then. Considering this is
You reopen the script?
I guess I didn't.
Changing the name.
There we go. So
We need something to add experience.
yeah. So
And to save and load the level.
that'll be later. We're not going to worry about serialization just yet. So current level, max level XP, get next level XP requirement. So we want to be able to change it. I'm just trying to think of how I want to change this. We could do some sort of event system actually for this, where that's excessive. We could just make this a singleton type thing. The only concern here, which is not going to be a concern for our for our full project, because we're not going to be supporting this, at least on this version. We're not going to be doing multiplayer. So if we do a singleton type access, we'd have to worry about if we had multiple players. We're not going to be worried about that this time. So I'm just going to start with that as our pattern for right now. So public player level instance. Public static, sorry. static player level instance. And now we can create some functions that grab this additional data and stuff. So we're going to, I like to do my instance stuff in awake because it happens before start. I use awake for critical things like references that you expect to be available as early as possible. So so instance equals this, and I'm actually going to make it a real singleton because we're going to have the player populated in scenes potentially. So we will go with if instance equals null. Then we just set instance equals this. Else destroy game object. And then finally we will set, and actually we should return here. And then what we're going to do is at the very end do don't destroy on load game object. So what this will do is if instance equals null, we set instance to this and we don't destroy on load. And otherwise we destroy the game object in return, so we don't do anything else. So this is probably not very important. It would only matter if we were doing additional configuration inside of the awake here, because don't destroy on load is pretty innocuous because we would just destroy it and it doesn't stop you from destroying the object manually. The trick is destroy doesn't happen immediately; it happens at the end of the frame. So it will still evaluate stuff after this if we don't return. So that's why I'm putting that in there. So now we have an instance we can work with. Let's go ahead and so get next level XP requirement. So let's have it so we can add XP. Let's actually just make this a public int XP.
We might want to make it a function that gets an XP amount and a level of the enemy that's giving that XP.
Why would we need that?
Because then we can put it into a function to, well, I guess we don't need to, but a lot of games will change the experience reward based on your level
on your level comparison. Yeah. I would yeah. I actually probably wouldn't do that, but I guess that is kind of common. I don't think Diablo actually does that, but I could be wrong. At least Diablo 3 doesn't. I'm not sure about Diablo 2 and Diablo 1. I could be wrong on all three, honestly. I think they just use pretty steep curves so that if there is a huge level difference, you're at least if you're fighting things that are far lower level than you, you're not going to gain levels very quickly. But if you fight things that are way higher level, you gain considerably quickly. They have to do some sort of calculation.
In Diablo, you don't gain levels quickly if you're in a party that's killing things higher level than you.
Diablo 3, you do. Like I've watched people gain 10 levels in like a minute if they just join a level 70 game as a level 1 and they go to the last area and they just hang out while the other dudes kill things. So
in Diablo 2, it's based on the area that you're in as well as the monsters that are being fought and your level.
Okay.
And there's like different breakpoints, so at like one level you won't gain any experience, or you'll gain close to no experience, and then the next level you'll gain tons of experience in some cases.
Okay, so there's a few ways we could do this. I would say, so in the case of a calculated experience thing, I would almost say that we should just pass in the enemy level and then do the experience calculation on this end. Because there's not much reason to modulate the experience point if it's based on the level in the first. Oh, I guess if we wanted to have certain enemies that are easier to kill than other enemies, I'm just gonna stick with experience points right now. We'll get more complex later. So I do want to make this an accessor if we do it in any particular way. So let's create a private int. And I'm going to put underscore XP. And then what we're going to do is public static int XP. And we're going to use a
It's a singleton, so
yeah, so we can actually. That's the reason I created a private int here, so we can actually access it using instance.xp. I think we can do that, can't we?
But if you're making it static, then you can access it just using player level dot
Yeah,
xp instead of player level dot instance dot xp.
exactly. Isn't that useful?
Oh, okay.
I mean, convenient. So,
Well, if it's a singleton, then you don't really need to make it static because you can already get instance.
yeah. No, I know. And that's the reason that this one's not static. I don't know. I guess if a lot of times when I create instance, I actually don't end up using it directly. I end up using static functions that actually call the instance themselves. But that's just my own personal choice on that one. I don't know if there's a particular advantage or disadvantage to that. Get set. So get, what we're going to do is return instance.xp underscore xp. In set, we will do value equals, xp
Instance.
equals, instance.xp equals value. So now we can access this from things and get it and change it.
Do you want to do like plus equals value, or
well,
because otherwise they're going to have to get the XP to add to it themselves, which is kind of weird.
well, it's also really weird to assume a plus equals when changing.
That's why I
a
wouldn't have done
value.
it as a. I wouldn't have done it as a get set.
Okay.
They shouldn't really need your experience value or your
Good point.
or
Good
the
point.
ability to
All right.
set it to whatever.
All right, we'll make it a function. Public static. Public static, and sorry, we don't need to return anything. It's public static void add xp instance dot xp plus equals int amount. There you go, and then we will just do that. So, yeah, that makes more sense, I guess. So, the other thing we're going to have to do is check to see if we've gained a level in this. So, if XP is greater than get next level requirement, and actually we should put this as a while loop. So this the only reason is this will only trigger in a case where you skip a level. So like say you gained enough experience in one huge amount of pool to gain 2 levels. If we just did the if, you wouldn't actually gain the second level until you killed the next enemy, which wouldn't be the end of the world, but it would be a bug in my mind. So
Instance XP.
yes, thank you. And instance dot. Actually, I guess we can make this. We're not using by other things yet, so I'm not going to worry about it. I'm sure we're going to need it at some point. Public, like to display it in a menu somewhere. Public static int get next XP requirement. This gives us instance dot current level. Instance dot current level, and yeah.
Then that doesn't need to be instance.
Yeah, this doesn't have to be instance anymore. So at this point we will increment the current level. Current level plus plus instance dot current level.
We need to make sure it's less than the maximum.
Yeah, I guess. Do we even need to have a maximum? Why limit ourselves?
Well, you can set max level to unsigned int. Whatever the unsigned int.
uint max, yeah.
Oh, except we're not using a uint.
Yeah. We could do int max. Yeah, whatever. We'll just do that. Sure. If current level is greater than max level, yeah, why not? Just in case we need it.
Outside of the while loop, though, in case your experience takes you above 70.
Oh, wait. Why would it have to be outside the while loop?
Because if it's inside the while loop and it says the next level you reached enough to get to 71, but you
but you didn't
70,
change.
then you'll be
Good
in the while
point.
loop
Infinite
forever.
loop. Yes, good call. Current level equals max level. And it needs to be instance dot current level. Oh, right. So, good level requirement does not exist in the current context. Oh yeah, because it's player level dot get next level requirement. Or not.
XP requirement.
Oh, whoops. There we go.
It
All
said
right.
exactly what it meant.
Yeah, it did. It did. So I'm going to go ahead and just make a real quick and dirty on GUI to just display some XP information. Void on GUI. GUI layout dot label equals, or label, and we're just going to have this say level plus current level. And then we will just do this a few more times. So level XP P plus XP GUI layout dot sorry, I guess we can just paste it again. So we're going to need the next level at, and then next level XP requirement. Save. Well, does that just work? Good. Okay, that's looking good. So if we apply this, I'm going to put this on our player. And we're going to hit play. Level 1, XP 0, next level at 10. Cool. So let's make it so that we can gain some XP when an enemy dies. So our Octopushy, actually, so is this something that should be at the death level? Making this a non-abstract anymore? No, let's make it so that the enemy types can have an experience value to them. So, let's go to, what is the other death? Octopushy death, that's right. Forgot we had a funny name for things. It's a funny name, huh? So, so die, we do this stuff, alright. So void die, set trigger, instantiate, start coroutine. Do you think that we should do this at the top level for death? How would you do this?
At the moment, I'm thinking it could go on the top level for death because there's probably going to be an experience reward for every enemy. We could default it to 0 and just not set it. It'll pass in you gain 0 experience.
Sounds good. Sounds good. All right, let's do it. So, so we're no longer going to make this a public abstract class. It's just going to be a public class death. But this is going to now be a public virtual void die. And what we will additionally have is Okay, so public virtual void die, and so now instead of just being a declaration, this is actually going to do something. So what we're going to do is we're going to have, yeah, death is an appropriate place to put the XP value. Public int XP value equals 0. I think it should be 1. If we desperately need to change something to 0 for some object or something that doesn't. The thing is,
we'll put death on objects, and then like people will run around killing bushes to gain.
Well, actually, you know, you joke, but I actually was considering doing that. I like getting experience rewards for just blowing stuff up. Sometimes, like I think that if you got experience for just breaking things in Diablo 3, actually, you do get experience for breaking things in Diablo 3 on the PC version. But
that's one of the cool things about playing Scape Torment is you can play through almost the entire game and only have to deal with, I think, like 2 battles in the entire game. Because you can talk your way through almost everything, and you get experience rewards for tons of different things. So.
Yeah, no, we're definitely going to have experience rewards in places other than death, but death is definitely going to be one that is a very common one. The other thing I like, for instance, actually, when I played D&D, there was I had a group that couldn't meet very often. We could only meet like once every like half year, and so leveling in D&D is actually kind of designed to be progressed slowly, right? It's not a fast game.
Especially
so
for druids.
The way so the way we sped it up considerably is we gave experience rewards for gold pieces. So
I think that's actually in the rule book.
Is it?
I think so.
Cool.
I
well,
think it's one of the side rules.
Yeah, I think I'm sure that they've suggested it before, but it ended up making the game feel really good, and it also made you really like gold. So
I like gold.
Exactly. So what we're going to do in our parent die here is we're just going to say player level dot add XP value, and I forget, if it's an override, do we have to call base dot die? Do we have to do this?
We could test it.
Yeah, let's test it. Let's not have it first. And so now if we go to, let's see if this all worked right. So if we go to the inspector for Octopushy, you should see now in Octopushy Death he has an XP value. Perfect. So that's just awesome. I just love programming. So let's see if we get an XP when we kill this enemy. We did not. Now if we call base.die,
we still did not.
We still did not. Sweet. Why is that? Player at level.add XP value. So did I do something wrong? Yeah, probably something in the player level script. Plus equals amount. Oh, while it is greater than, that's fine. Huh. Did not get the instance for some reason. Instance equals null. Instance equals this. Destroy game object. Return. Do we have this on anything? Did we put this on the player? I thought we did.
We did.
Yeah, we did because otherwise it wouldn't be playing and putting anything on the screen. So, did I miss a save somewhere?
Save all. Save all is available, so something didn't save.
Let's try that. Okay, so that was exciting.
Is die on like particles and stuff too?
I don't think so, but that's interesting. We don't even have a particle spawning, I don't think. Let's see what happened here. Octopushy Death. Oh, I'm just gonna assume that we don't actually need that. Let's just see what happens if we get rid of that and see how this goes. No, okay, we do need it, but
we're probably how are we
calling die?
Yeah.
So die happens.
I'm assuming that's in a.
Yeah, it's in the health. It's in the health thing. So. Yeah, that's probably what happened.
Shooting it while it's still.
Oh, there we go. So it's because this is still around. So if it takes more damage afterwards for whatever reason, we end up in a problem. So what we're going to do is we're going to create a little private bool is dead equals false. And not is dead, then death. Save.
And change is dead.
What?
Call death and set is dead to true.
Oh yeah. Is dead equals true. Save.
So that'll save on whatever overhead we had for calling death over and over and over again.
Yeah. Yay. I think I probably have to put that, yeah, I still have to put that base die back. So, base.die. File save. Play. I actually like that you have to explicitly call base.die. That looked promising. Because of the fact that it means that you can actually truly override a function if for whatever reason you need to get rid of functionality at a higher level. So let's put some more enemies in our level. Let's make our level a little bit bigger, just so that we can kind of play around.
It is kind of small.
It is really small.
Oh, and we can like throw walls everywhere, so that we can actually slide around on more walls.
Sure, why not?
And then after the level, we'll have to put some. We'll have to work on some stat increases.
So I'm just going to take Octopushy here, and we're going to. I'm going to make a bunch of them. I'm curious what happens if we just put a bunch of them in the same spot. Oh, well.
That didn't work.
Yeah.
Helped. And you killed them
gained a
all at
level.
the same time.
Level 2.
Next level
at 40. That looks like a good number. That feels right. It's probably going to be horrible really quickly, but let's find out.
The curves are usually quick early on and then slow later. 40 might even be a little high.
Yeah.
Because it's quadrupling the number you needed for level 2.
So the reason this didn't work is because these guys will actually avoid hitting each other, but only if their raycasts can actually hit each other. So if you're raycasting from inside of another collider, it will not detect that as a collision. So what can we do to change that, or should we just not worry about that just yet? I think I'm going to vote on the not worrying about it, but it also does mean that we have to move things around. I'm gonna have to change that before the end of this project, because I want to have the convenience of being able to just be like, spawn a million enemies here, and then just have the game kind of figure it out. So, but let's see how it looks if we actually split them out first. They actually collide against each other. That's cool. Oh god, I'm surrounded. I can't get out. That's good. That's good, actually. Exactly. That's good. Although I was able to kind of push through one there.
Well,
probably
it's your
because
center
it's my center, so
you can hit on the edges and stuff.
Yeah.
Which actually might not be far off from how action RPGs do it, because usually you can run
kind of
in between
ghetto
enemies that
through
are
them.
right next
Yeah,
to
exactly.
each other.
We could switch it to a sphere cast if we are feeling frisky at some point, but I'm just going to leave it for right now. I do want to make it so that those enemies will actually automatically like jump themselves out of each other, though.
Spawn them with a rigid body and turn it off after. Then they'll launch into the air. They'll be like the mammoths of Skyrim.
If we did it exactly at the same place and they ended up like choosing the vertical offset, they probably would just stay as a line traveling towards. So how do we want to do that? If I'm not going to worry about it. Yeah, I'm not going to worry about it. What I am going to do, though, is I'm going to create, let's create an enemy spawner. Let's just go ahead and create some sort of, like, monster closet enemy spawner gauntlet style thing. So I'm sure they have them in Diablo as well. As a matter of fact, I know they do, like the trees with the bird things in them and stuff. So what are we creating? Though this one's just going to be a cube that does it for right now. Actually, let's make it this evil cylinder. This is going to be our monster spawner. I'm going to get rid of his collider and just have it like produce enemies. So create C# script spawn after delay. Let's turn off this. There we go. Spawn after delay. So public float delay equals 1.0f. Public game object to spawn. We've probably written this before, but I'm going to write it again. So
we might also want an int for how many to spawn at each interval.
Yeah, but that would, well, again, if we did that, we'd have to fix the problem that I'm trying to avoid fixing right now. Because they'd be all in the same position.
If you spawn them in the same position.
Yeah, I guess we could offset the spawn positions.
You could just spawn them all at one point and have them walk in a random direction for a couple seconds before.
The problem is even if some of them walked in similar directions, they'd still be raycasting from center. So
they only have to offset slightly so that you can see there's multiple enemies near each other.
I guess that's true. But they would behave like they're phased out until they locked into a position that, yeah.
Enemies clip over each other all the time, and
I'm just going to have it so we could just make them spawn really fast. If you're spawning one a frame, I mean, I guess we still have the problem at one a frame though. So I'm just gonna have them spawn right now. I'm not gonna worry about it. This is mostly for testing levels and stuff. So update is called 1 per frame. Update. What are we doing? We're going to instance. Oh wait, sorry, not update. We don't even need an update. Invoke spawn delay. No, just delay. Thank you, it had it that time. And then we're going to create a function called void spawn invoke delay at the end here. And what else are we going to do? Instantiate object to spawn. Transform.position. Transform.rotation. And actually, we could. I got rid of the collider, but I'm actually going to put it back because those things will still walk out of it. So invoke spawn delay. Yeah, that's really all we need to do. So let's go ahead and throw this on our cylinder. Let's
put hit points on the cylinder.
Okay. Throw HP on the cylinder, which means that we also have to play. This thing goes. Yeah, we need death die, so we need to put die on there.
A death.
Yeah. Yes. As a matter of fact, now we can actually just put this on there if we wanted to. So I'm going to do that for right now. So, because it's no longer abstract. So let's make this thing worth 100.
Oh, that's a lot.
And let's also make it have 50 health. We're going to see how tough this actually is. And let's make it let's make the delay 1. I think that's appropriate. So, let's, without further ado, see how this goes.
It's not spawning. Or they're stuck inside.
Inside reference exception. It might help if I told it what we wanted to spawn.
Right.
So, cylinder. We're going to throw Octopushy into here.
It did the best it could.
It really did.
It tried.
It tried.
It was like, oh no, it's going to kill me. I can't figure out what to spawn.
Alright. Yeah. Gained level 2.
It looks like they're going to the ground. So are you.
Oh, why am I going into the ground? Am I going into the ground? I think it's just that we're at a very awkward angle, considering this is the widest aspect ratio in the universe.
But it looks like they're
they are going into the ground. They are. You're right. And the reason they're going into the ground is probably because we have them set up with their... So how are they working? Why would they be going into the ground? Looked like we were going into the ground too, honestly. Yep, it started happening, so let's look at what's going on here. So the cube, has it lowered for some reason? It has, because the cube started at 1. So why?
Is our plane tilted?
No, it's not. But that's a good question. So, where's our player?
I forget how our controls work.
So we do move on axis input. Yep. Use original file.
Oh.
Yes.
What is the collider on the? It's because the angles we're getting from the collision with them.
Is not
so
9-degree stuff. Yeah. So our problem is okay. So, and this is actually something we discussed off the show, and so I'm going to discuss it with you guys now. Our cross product walk actually only works in the case of colliders that are perpendicular to the ground. So that means that we're going to have a preference for box colliders in this game versus other types of colliders.
Which is fine, because that's probably what we would want anyway.
Yeah, either that or sphere colliders. So we are using sphere colliders right now. We're going to switch them all to box colliders. So I'm going to do this on the prefab. We're going to remove the sphere collider. Actually, let's do it while we're on one of these so that we can see the size of our colliders. So we're going to remove this sphere collider. And we're going to add a box collider. Component, physics, box collider. I'm so glad that you came up with that as the reason, because that could have gummed us up for a long time if we were not careful. Yeah, we'll do that. No, I want it to be, because this is going to be what we're shooting at too. Yeah, a little bit overlap never hurt anyone, so let's do 0.5. Yeah, let's do that. Let's see how that looks.
One of them is still on the ground. Oh, you didn't apply it, did you?
You're right, I didn't. So let's apply that. They still slide around things pretty good. I was playing Diablo 3 recently, and yeah, it's funny. They actually don't have pathfinding for the enemies. They do actually just do the slidey thing around things. Sometimes they have. It seems like they have a small hint where they will try to get around like a corner, but for the most part, they do not. They're not very smart. So the other thing I want to do here is right now. The reason we saw this is because we're not actually moving the camera around or anything. So let's make it so we do. We're going to do this in the really simple ghetto way. We're just going to parent the main camera under the player and hit play. So now when we move around, we can move through the scene and kind of do things. There we go. Cool. Oh, what did I do? Oh, okay. Well, that's the one problem with doing that. Based on our look direction, we always shoot forward. Yeah, that won't work. So let's make a follow. Follow object. What does this do? This. Okay, this follows object at a speed. So what do we want to do? We want to.
I think we're looking too far into the distance too.
What do you mean, like, just like
we
the
should
angle?
Be up a little bit higher.
Yeah,
and
yeah.
Angled down more.
Yeah. This is all very non-final what we're working on right now. So, but what we're going to need is, this is what I actually usually call follow object. So now I need to have a better name for it.
Well, What's in follow object?
Maintain.
Why can't we use that?
Well, it. We want something that maintains an offset. Is what we want. We don't want something that has a speed that goes towards something. So I'm going to have I'm going to call it maintain offset. Relative offset. Maintain relative position. There we go. Maintain relative position. So we're going to put this into late update, and we're going to have a public transform target, and in start we're going to do private vector 3 offset, and start offset equals target dot position minus transform dot position, and in late update transform dot position equals target dot position plus
offset.
Plus offset. Save. We will now place this onto our camera. We will unparent our camera from the player, and we will place the player reference in here. And let's go ahead and see how that goes. So now when yeah, perfect. So that's working. Let's gain a level or two. Let's see if we can kill this this cylinder. That probably shouldn't have a cylinder collider. Although a cylinder collider is probably one of the few that won't mess us up too bad.
We might want to parent the player and the camera to a game object.
Player and a camera to a game object,
so that we can make them, because the player is don't destroy unload.
Oh,
and
yeah.
Also separate from the tracking script, we have to have some way to place the player in the script in the new scenes. Stop farming XP, just destroy the tower already.
I'm trying to. I'm not powerful enough to destroy the tower. The tower has a lot of HP. I'm not even sure if it's working. Next level at 250, yeah. We're cruising on the levels.
Oh, you should have just kept going. Now you're off. Okay, there we go.
We have to have hit 50 times by now, don't we?
Probably, because aren't we hitting the... Wait, are we doing 1 point or more?
We're doing 1 point.
And they have how much health? 3?
The enemies have... how much health do the enemies have? Let's find out. Oops. 3, yeah. Actually, let's go to our cylinder and see what, if we put this into debug mode, we can look at current health is negative 139. So, and it says it's dead, so that's exciting. Oh, I know what the problem is. So it called death. And it added the XP. That's the reason we ended up as level 5. But we didn't destroy it anywhere. So, and we don't want to put destroy in the die function here. So, so it works as designed. But let's create a. I'm going to create a. I'm going to call it debug death. And all debug death is going to do is just. It is a subclass of def, and the reason we're calling it debug is we should not really use this def in any case, because we're probably going to want to have some sort of feedback that an enemy has died. But all we're going to do is void over. Sorry, is it override void or over? How do we
override die?
Yeah,
and then it autofills it.
Oh yeah, public. That's right. Public Oh, yeah. That's right. That was the model developed thing. So you do need the void there, but it will figure that out for you. So all we're going to do is base.die and destroy game object. Save. So we're going to put this onto our cylinder, and we're going to get rid of the other death on there. And we're going to give the XP value of 100. Play. Let's see if we can kill this thing properly.
We need an AoE attack.
We really do. We also need to make our bullets more powerful as we gain levels. That might be something to do in the next 10 minutes.
I think one thing we need to do is check the comments.
Yeah, you're right. I forgot. We don't have anyone on comment duty, so that's our job. Thank you for bringing that up. Let me just see if we got it.
There
we got
go.
it! Yay! And we're level 4. Woo!
Oh, we almost gained
Ding!
another level. We almost leveled
Ding!
twice in that.
Yeah. All right. So.
Or maybe we did level twice. Maybe we were level.
Yeah, I didn't actually
2
look.
most of the
So
time.
let's see what the comments have to say. Good, we're streaming. That's always a plus. I think we're streaming. Comments are loading though. Hello, comments. Hello, comments. Loading. Well, 15 people are watching, so that's exciting, and we've already got a thumbs up, so that's something. I'm going to shift refresh. Maybe that will make a difference.
Does that force it to
It does.
reload instead of just grabbing
It does. From a cache.
Mm-hmm.
Yay. Oh, a leveling system. Didn't see this in upcoming events. Yeah, sorry. I'm really late on the upcoming events right now, so we still have our same schedule. It's just that it's been busy, and sometimes I've been having to cancel, and so it's been tough to set things up in advance.
Wow, everyone's in different time zones.
Yeah. International audience. Hardcode XP curve. Yeah, why not? It's easy enough to tweak, so we could have made it a not a virtual function. We could have made it a function pointer or something fancy like that, and then made it so you could define it somewhere else or have the equation defined somewhere. But I'm not going to worry about that. Unity 5 will be available to the public. I don't know. Nice to have the UI stuff for my PSM making. I wouldn't hold your breath that Unity 5 will immediately see a release of the new PlayStation Mobile for Unity 5. I know that they say that it will be coming in Unity 5. Don't expect it day one. Awesome Games Done Quick is awesome. Unreal Engine 4, so awesome, but so complicated to do anything. I'm probably going to be delving into that more this year, so we'll see if I get to the point where I feel proficient enough to do a tutorial show for it. We might include some, we might do some Unreal content at some point. So, calling die every frame while the item plays. Yes, it was. On death as a message rather than extend the script. That way you can create different death conditions as components. Rather than having to extend the script. I see what you're saying. So like, just have a death function and then also a function that says how you die. That's basically what we did with our inheritance, though. So, I think, unless I'm hearing you wrong. Spawn an array of game objects for future expansion. Yeah, we can do that. That's easy. But we don't need it right now. Capsule is in the ground. We figured that one out. Need a nice ding low. Yeah, we definitely need better level up effects. All right, cool. So, let's real quickly just make it so that our weapon can do additional damage. So right now, our sphere
One problem with putting things in on death is if you are changing scenes, then everything dies.
Well, it's not on destroy, on death. I think he was talking about making a new,
right.
new thingy. So, destroy on trigger enter. So this thing does damage on trigger enter. And so what we should do is we should probably have so damage. How are we going to do this? Let's, instead of doing damage amount, let's go ahead and actually I'm going to keep damage on trigger enter as a thing because we might use this for enemy projectiles. I'm going to create a new one. We're going to duplicate it. And this one's going to be called level scaled damage on trigger enter. This will be exactly the same except for instead of damage amount, we're going to call this damage bonus. And we're going to just do 1.0F for this one. So this will allow us to have skills or weapons that have different amounts. We're not worried about items and stuff. That will be more complexity later, but we're gonna just see how this goes. So all this is going to do is just modulate the damage based on the level, and I'm just going to have it be a linear damage right now. So damage is going to be really basic damage bonus times level, player level dot level dot. Wait, can we not get the level? That seems like a short-sighted thing. No, probably dot instance level. Dot instance dot level. There we go. Current level. Save. Alright, so global organization damage. Oh yeah, so level scaled damage on trigger enter. Save. We also probably are going to have like attack and defense values and stuff. So this is going to be a very temporary thing. So we're going to put this onto our sphere. I'm actually going to rename the sphere to player player bullet right now. So what are we doing? We're getting rid of the damage on trigger enter. And we're going to add our level scaled damage on trigger enter. And that was put to the wrong thing. Put it on here. Level scaled damage on trigger enter. And we're just going to do a damage bonus of 1. And let's see how this does. So if we hit play now. So it takes 3 hits to kill an enemy. And then it continues to do that for a while. And then we gain the level. And at this point it should only take 2 hits to kill an enemy. Though it doesn't look like it's doing a whole lot better.
I think it looks
it's
like it is.
Doing a little bit, yeah.
Yeah, it's doing 2.
Alright.
Almost a 2-1 to kill an enemy.
Yep, that's definitely one. Cool.
You should be able to take out that tower in no time.
Let's take out this tower. Die, tower. Yeah. Feels good. Feels good, man. Levels feel good. All right, that's good.
Now we should be doing 4 damage.
Yeah. Except for there's no way to hit. Well, I mean, I guess we could have added some enemies, but so that's what we're gonna do. I'm not gonna worry about the Sonic Ether version or whatever for right now. So thank you very much for watching. We've got some groundwork. There's still a lot to figure out. Did I go to what?
Oh no, I thought you were doing the endings.
Oh yeah, thank you. You're right. I was doing that. We do it with this. Thank you very much for joining us tonight. If you have any questions, please email me, pushypixels@pushypixels.com. You can also tweet at Drakfire, that's DRAKFYRE. Support us on Patreon, patreon.com/cookingwithunity. It's an awesome show, and we need your support. Yeah, you guys have a great one. I'll catch you tomorrow with more Breakfast with Unity, and then you'll have a good weekend after that, and we'll come back on Monday for more Scape. I'm liking the way this project is going so far. It is going to be our most complex project to date. We're ready to commit to this one. So yeah, we'll see how this actually turns out. Thank you very much, and you guys have a great night.
Have a good night. Have a good morning.
Have a good weekend. And a morning, or whatever. I'll see you before then, but still have a good weekend.
Good evening, and
if I don't see you, yeah. Good evening, good afternoon,
well, whatever
good night,
time zones you're in right now.
Yeah,
so.
truly. Tea time with Unity.